Archie Bunker doesn't really do quiet weekends, and that becomes painfully obvious the moment a doctor tells him the one thing he is least capable of doing: relax. But to understand why this stretch of episodes feels like a runaway train powered by stubbornness, nerves, and family pressure, you have to start with the kind of tiny household spark that in the Bunker home can ignite a full-scale emotional fire. It begins with laundry, innocent, domestic, absolutely not meant to be dramatic. Mike, trying to be helpful in that earnest, modern husband way, takes on the washing and accidentally turns one of Gloria's bras a different color. In a normal house, that's a quick laugh and maybe an apology. In this house, it becomes a symbol, a scandal, and a personal insult to Archie's sense of order. Archie sees the bra and reacts as if someone has hung a flag of embarrassment right in his living room. Edith tries to smooth it over with her gentle, "It's no big thing" voice. Gloria feels mortified, and Mike tries to make it funny, but Archie isn't really arguing about fabric. Archie is arguing about the feeling that everything is changing and that he's losing his grip on what he understands. When Archie feels that, he gets loud. When Archie gets loud, the entire house becomes a pressure cooker. And there's already pressure building, because at Archie's job, the company is ordering physical exams. The rumor on the floor is exactly the kind of rumor that makes an older working man feel like he's standing on a trapdoor. The physical isn't about health, it's about weeding out the weak. Archie hears checkup and instantly imagines goodbye job. He doesn't say it in those words at first. Instead, he does what he always does. He starts comparing. He points at another older guy, Deutschmeyer, and insists that if anyone is unhealthy, it's that guy, not him. Archie's logic is pure survival instinct dressed up as opinion. If there's someone worse, maybe Archie stays safe. Mike tries to turn it into a broader conversation about labor, economics, and how employers treat people. Archie refuses to enter that world. He wants simple. He wants personal. He wants to fight a target he can point at. So Archie goes to the doctor, and the doctor tells him his blood pressure is high. The doctor isn't cruel. He isn't dramatic. He's clinical. But for Archie, clinical feels like judgment. The diagnosis doesn't just say, "Your blood pressure is high." In Archie's mind, it says, "You're old," and Archie would rather wrestle a bear than accept that label. The doctor prescribes rest. Take it easy. Don't get worked up. A peaceful weekend. Archie nods like he agrees, but his face has the expression of a man who has just been asked to perform ballet in steel-toe boots. Back home, Edith turns into the world's most anxious caretaker. She organizes Archie's relaxation like it's a military operation. She brings pillows. She offers tea. She tries to keep the house quiet enough that even the wallpaper won't startle him. Gloria tries to be sweet. Mike tries to cooperate. Archie reacts in the most Archie way possible. He gets irritated that everyone is tiptoeing around him, because being treated gently makes him feel weak, and feeling weak makes him angry. It's the perfect trap. If they treat him normally, he gets worked up. If they treat him carefully, he gets worked up. The only thing everyone agrees on is that the weekend is already not going well. Then the baby enters the conversation, and the calm weekend collapses entirely. Gloria is heavily pregnant, overdue, uncomfortable, and emotionally stretched thin. Everything in the house now rotates around the fact the new person is about to arrive. Mike and Gloria begin discussing baby names, and they bring up Stanislaus, honoring Mike's father. The name hits Archie like a slap. He reacts as if the name alone will doom the child's future. He imagines playground teasing, job interviews, teachers stumbling over it, the baby growing up resentful because of syllables. He dramatizes it the way Archie dramatizes everything, because he believes volume equals truth. Gloria tries to explain that it matters to Mike. Mike tries to be calm. Archie gets louder, and all of it is happening while Archie is supposed to be relaxing for his blood pressure, which makes the whole situation feel like a comedy sketch written by a cruel cardiologist. Gloria then mentions they also considered naming the baby Archie, and for a moment, Archie softens. You can practically see the ego inflate. Suddenly, names aren't dangerous anymore. Suddenly, the future looks bright. But as soon as Archie suspects the name won't be exactly what he wants, if it's a variation, If it's combined, if it's not full credit, his outrage returns. In Archie's world, respect is measured in full ownership. Anything less feels like an insult. Edith reaches a breaking point that surprises everyone, including herself. She has spent years smoothing Archie's edges, absorbing his moods, protecting everyone from the worst of his storms. But the doctor's warning plus the constant fighting pushes her into something rare: firmness. She decides the house needs calm, and if Mike and Gloria's presence is going to keep triggering arguments, then they should leave for a while. She tells them to go. It's not said with cruelty, but with a kind of exhausted authority. Archie is stunned. Mike and Gloria are hurt. Edith feels guilty almost immediately, because guilt is Edith's reflex, but there's also a quiet strength in her decision. For once, she draws a line, and everyone has to acknowledge she is not just a gentle voice in the background. While the house tries to manage Archie's health crisis, Mike and Gloria are dealing with the emotional intensity of late pregnancy. Gloria feels like her body isn't hers anymore. She's tired, swollen, impatient, and sensitive. Everyone has advice. Everyone thinks they know what she should do, how she should feel, how she should behave. Mike tries to be supportive, but Mike's support has a pattern. He uses logic like a blanket, and sometimes that blanket feels itchy. He explains things. He reassures her with facts. He tries to solve emotional storms with calm reasoning, and Gloria, who doesn't want to lecture, gets more frustrated. Jealousy lights the fuse again when Mike is tutoring his student, Linda Galloway. Linda is attractive, confident, and perhaps a little too comfortable around him. Gloria, already feeling insecure because of pregnancy, starts imagining scenarios. She reads meaning into small details. Archie, who loves suspicion like it's his favorite hobby, decides he can prove something is going on. He treats the situation like he's running an investigation, even though his investigative tools are basically gossip, confidence, and a complete lack of self-awareness. Archie's plan is simple and ridiculous. Invite Mike over, pour wine, and get Mike talking. Archie believes alcohol makes men tell the truth. What actually happens is better and worse. Mike drinks, loosens up, and becomes honest, but not in the scandalous way Archie wants. Mike admits Linda flirted. He admits there was a moment of temptation, not because he's immoral, but because he's human and someone was trying to charm him. But then he admits the part that matters. He left. He walked away. He chose Gloria and the baby. He chose the life he's building, even when it's stressful and messy and loud. Archie, right in the middle of hearing this, falls asleep like someone flipped a switch, because Archie's relationship with wine always ends the same way. He starts out convinced he's in control and ends up snoring while someone else does the emotional work. Still, the truth gets out. Gloria's fear eases. Mike looks imperfect, but loyal. And for a brief moment, the family seems like it might breathe. But the pregnancy clock keeps ticking, and the longer Gloria stays overdue, the more tension builds. Gloria becomes increasingly impatient. Her mood swings intensify, not because she's unreasonable, but because she's carrying enormous physical and emotional weight. Mike tries to prepare obsessively. He dives into childbirth coaching techniques, breathing exercises, supplies, instructions, everything. He acts like labor is a test, and if he studies hard enough, he can pass. Gloria, meanwhile, feels like she's being managed. She wants tenderness, not a training session. Mike's coaching begins to feel like supervision, and she snaps. He tries to stay calm. She snaps again. The tension becomes a loop. Love turns into stress, stress turns into friction, friction turns into arguments, and all of it is fueled by fear they don't fully say out loud. Then comes the baby shower, and the house fills with excited people and gifts and jokes, the usual blend of sweetness and chaos. Gloria is overwhelmed. Everyone is focused on her belly, her future, her baby. Mike tries to hold things together, but he's nervous, and nervous Mike has a tendency to interpret every announcement as an emergency. At one point, he hears something that sounds like it involves their doctor, and he nearly spirals into panic. The room ends up calming him down like he's the one about to give birth. It's funny, but it's also revealing. Mike's fear is love in disguise. He's terrified because he cares so much. The emotional peak arrives when Mike and Gloria try to go out for one last quiet dinner together, hoping to have a normal moment before their lives change permanently. At first, it works. They reminisce. They talk about the future. They soften. They look like a young couple holding hands at the edge of something enormous. And then reality interrupts. Gloria feels a contraction. Mike sees it and instantly shifts into emergency mode. Romance turns into logistics. He tries to call the doctor, call the family, coordinate everything, keep Gloria calm, keep himself from collapsing. And this is where the situation becomes perfect sitcom chaos. Mike ends up in a phone booth, cramped, fumbling, dialing numbers, trying to act like a capable leader while panic floods his system. The more he tries to control the moment, the more ridiculous it becomes, like the universe is forcing him to learn that you can't manage childbirth the way you manage homework. At the same time, Archie is tangled up in lodge drama, caught in some outdated performance situation that has its own awkward tension. But when the news comes that Gloria is going into labor, Archie's priorities snap into focus. Whatever he was worried about, his pride, lodge politics, reputation, suddenly doesn't matter. He rushes. He fumbles. He scrambles to get where he needs to be. And under all the complaining, you see something real. Archie loves his daughter. Archie wants to be there. He may fight about names and shout about everything, but when the moment is real, his heart pulls him toward his family. Across these episodes, the comedy comes from how each character handles fear. Archie handles fear by yelling and pretending he's invincible. Mike handles fear by over-preparing, then panicking when reality doesn't follow the plan. Gloria handles fear by emotional intensity, because she is living the most physical change of her life. Edith handles fear by caring until she can't, then suddenly becoming stronger than anyone expected. They're all afraid of change, of failure, of losing control, of the future. And yet, beneath the shouting and mishaps, there's a warm core. They keep showing up for each other. A baby is coming. The family is shifting. Archie is forced to face his health, his aging, and his role as a grandfather. Mike is forced to accept that love isn't just preparation, it's presence. Gloria is forced to push through discomfort and fear toward a new life. Edith is forced to become more than the peacemaker and step into real authority when it matters. And through every argument, every misunderstanding, every comedic explosion, the truth stays consistent. This house is messy, loud, imperfect, and somehow still held together by loyalty that refuses to break.